Well, it's a bit of a weird scenario at Southend United as we return ahead of transfer deadline day this summer. We've lost a lot of the depth we were bragging about in the last episode due to player unhappiness and good offers being received. We've also drawn a massive third round Carabao Cup tie, which we're going to show today. We'll also probably end our chances of a cup run in this one. So, this is going to be a pretty important episode for us, as without a couple of additions, one we're trying to get now, I do feel when we get into the Europa League in the next few weeks, we might struggle with the depth of our squad a little. Yes, hello and welcome along to part 73 of Saving Southend with me, Daniel. We are back today to face Chelsea away in the Carabao Cup third round before we look at transfer deadline day, a big day tomorrow, as we probably need to add one or two to our squad. We'll have a look at a few players that have moved on since the last episode, as well as our start to the season, which, to be honest, based on the games we've had, have gone largely as expected. But we did get a big result in the circumstances last time out. If you're looking forward to all of that, then please do put a thumbs up on a video. But let's start, before we go into any of the scheduling stuff, by having a look at the transfer window, because there's a centre half that may be joining tomorrow. We'll wait and see if that deal gets done. The reason that is needed, and other signings maybe, is because of two further departures since the last episode. The first of which was Marcel Volsky. He went to Sunderland for 12.75 million. He was throwing his toys out the pram. He wanted a new contract on bigger money when he wasn't really featuring. And even there, he's pretty much a squad player. He wasn't good enough. He was our third best right winger. He wasn't improving off the pitch as he should have been. Wasn't playing when he went to championship clubs on loan. And despite having massive potential, which we've got a bit of a sell-on clause for, it just wasn't right for us. So to get triple the money we paid, probably even more actually. Yeah, we only paid 3 million. So we've got over triple up front, could be more than 4 times after add-ons. But a really decent deal for us. He's done okay, but he wasn't good enough. And to have unhappy players on the fringes, we can't be doing that. The other one is Kerr Smith, who has gone on loan to Glasgow Rangers with the option of an add-on. He's picked up an injury already. He's a decent centre-half, but we've still got 4 at the club anyway. And the fifth one we're looking at would be younger and better than what he offers. He's done a solid job since he came in, was decent for us last season, only played a few league games but was good in the cups as well. But now, time for him to move on and get a bit more regular football, and for us to get someone off the wage bill. Makes plenty of sense in the circumstances. So with that in mind, and we go and have a look at the squad now, we are a little bit shorter than we were. We're down to 4 wingers, 4 centre midfielders, pretty much 4 central defenders as well, but we have got 5 strikers, some of which can play out wide. We've got Adeniji as the 5th fullback who can play wide. We have had some problems with injury, and Lucas Daniels the worst one. He threw his toys out the pram, he was unhappy, wanted more football, played him, got sent off after a few minutes in his last game, which fortunately for him, we still won. But he's really testing my patience, and I feel the next summer, he might be the next big gun to leave. But if I'm looking at what I want to do, I want to get a centre half in ideally, and maybe a central midfielder as well. But we'll see if both of those are possible. If not, we'll cope with what we've got. We'll look at the development centre. We'll maybe get Moses involved a bit more. Maybe we bring man back from loan. I don't know. But there's not really on the midfield front many natural candidates to come back in. Jack Morehouse would be the obvious one. There's obviously Christian Jigel as well. But I don't really want to hamper their chances to play regularly, because so far this season, Jigel has featured for Leeds regularly and Jack Morehouse is a starter for QPR. So might have to look at the free agent market or just a utility man, because I don't want to ruin anything for the long term. But in the short term, we're probably going to need one more player. Now though, let's go and have a look at the schedule and how our season has continued. You were with me as we gave United a good game, but just fell short away at Old Trafford. We then had a 1-1 draw at home to Arsenal, where in truth, we were second best. Cameron Ishmael was injured early, but Kamara did well, and Joe Wills got an equaliser just after the break. We held on just about in that game. Joe Wills was then to the rescue away at Fulham. I made a bit of a balls up in this game, to be honest, because, okay, we got the injury to Ivanov, but on the Friday there was an under-21 game, which seems to be happening a lot this season. They're all on the Friday night. And I'd accidentally put about 7 or 8 backup players in there to build their fitness up, ready for the cup tie the midweek after. and didn't realise that none of them would then be fit for the game. So we did have a few troubles there. Couldn't make subs really, bar the one that was enforced. But Joe Wills, 94th minute, big credit to him. And in this game against Southampton, Lucas Daniel sent off after 6 minutes, complained about football. You can keep complaining some because that was a disgrace. We'll miss the cup tie as a result, but somehow we still won it. Wills, Sam Amo and Jimenez got the goals. Massive credit to the boys for that win. It's an incredible result in the circumstances and really important that we got a few points on the board early ahead of our Europa League run, because these are the games we've got. Benfica, FC20, Panathinaikos, Besiktas, Levski Sofia, Derry City, and then the big ones come in January next year, let's be honest. Napoli at home and Lille away, the final two ones. But prior to that, really, we should be wrapping up certainly a top 24 place and quite possibly getting near the top 8. I would say Benfica away is the only game of the first 6 that I wouldn't expect to win. We'll see if it works out that way or not. But for now, we've got to focus on Chelsea away and transfer deadline day. So let's get through the fixture as we head to Chelsea. Not the easiest draw we could have had when you see the likes of Altrincham. York are up in League One now. Very different trajectory to real life, and a few other championship teams too. But let's see the 11 that we have gone for as Chelsea play aggressive with a front four against us. But this is the team I'm putting out. It is very changed from the weekend. With us getting Chelsea away in this round, I'm kind of ruling out winning the Carabao Cup. We're going to go for a bit in the Europa. We're going to push a bit in other competitions if we get a good draw. But this season, it doesn't look like the Carabao Cup is going to be that. So this is the 11 we've gone for. Jude Sadler in between the sticks, with Asensio making his first start for the club at right back. Both centre-halves making their first start as well, Perez and Herbert, with Brandt moving over to the left due to Ishmael's injury. Adeniji is playing on the right of midfield. Yocolano continues his comeback and will feature off the bench today. Jensen there after an injury as well. Edozie on the left, Harrison and Bernberg in the middle, with Sanhueza making his second start, albeit his last one lasted 6 minutes because he was the man sacrificed after the Daniel red card, alongside Joe Hugill, the ever-present superstar up front, been overtaken now by Ivanov and Wills. But Ivanov's there on the bench, Hugill is there on the team sheet, and hopefully today, one of them can deliver. Into the Chelsea game we go. We see if we can avoid going out the Carabao Cup at the first attempt. Well, to be fair, I'm very surprised that Chelsea have only made 2 changes. The goalkeeper looks like a backup, but otherwise they have gone very strong. Lavia, Caicedo, Fofana, Makoko all still in there. Levi Colwill as well. Reece James the skipper. This is a Chelsea side with a lot of established players and pretty much their Premier League team starting. Not quite sure why in a game like this, but it might be our undoing because we've gone back up and we're probably going to get punished. The only benefit we've got is if they're knackered, which I'm guessing they won't be in the circumstances. They played on Saturday against Liverpool, okay. And pretty much all of that team played, but they played against 10 for the most part, which doesn't help us. As they kept the ball, they were able to preserve fitness, and they're on the front foot early as a result. James down the right to Datro Fofana. James again, inside to Caicedo, up to Lavia. We're closing down, but not quick enough. James playing round us. Lavia with the 1-2. Datro Fofana in across the box. And Lavia makes it 1-0. Oh dear. We are seemingly struggling with this sort of attacking 4. It seems since the winter update, a lot more teams are playing 2 up front with 2 out wide. And we're really struggling to deal with 4-on-4 at the back. The midfield runners then get past and it becomes a very difficult day. Joe Hugill has picked up a knock, so Rasmus Jensen will come on. I think we're going to play them that way round because Jensen's 6'4", so why not? And we don't want to risk Hugill because he is too important for us. Altrincham beating Brighton, that could be shock of the night. I don't think we're going to be producing one here because Chelsea are absolutely flying and we are yet to even have a shot on their goal, let alone worry about testing the keeper. Well, approaching half-time, it's been a very quiet second half to the first half, but it is Chelsea on the front foot again now, and it's down that right-hand side. They're causing chaos. Datro Fofana, good shot, but straight at Sadler. Not sure it was one of the goals of the season if it goes in, but it was a good effort, and Chelsea should be more than 1 up. So maybe a bit like the Arsenal game, we can take some solace from the fact we're only 1 down and have a real go second half. I'm not sure what options we've realistically got to do that. We've probably not got the most dynamic bench. The defenders are struggling with fitness. Ivanov is a walking injury, but I'll probably will throw him and Jimenez and maybe Ukulano on. Let's see how we get on here, though. If we go 2 or 3 down, we might protect them. As it's a ball in, free header for the defender, straight over the bar. He probably should have scored there, in truth. Their expected goals is 2.5 now, but they're wasting chances for fun and giving us a route back in. So with 65 on the clock, let's gamble it. Bernberg is nervous and on a yellow card, so Jimenez on for him. Harrison will just switch sides. We're going to go for Sanheiser off for Ivanov. We're going to go for Ukulano on for... I think I'm going to do Baranda here. We're going to move Asensio to left back, Adeniji to right back, Ukulano right wing. Then the final sub, I'm going to save a few more minutes, but probably will be Sam Hamo for Adozi, as Asensio has a throw on the left for Adozi. Headed away as far as Herbert, who finds Asensio. Over on the left, robbed of possession. Does well to win it back. He's still in the fight. Harrison gives it to Herbert and into Jensen. Maybe lacking a little bit of that ruthless edge that we would have normally. And Joe Wills has been the man of the moment this year, as Adeniji breaks down the right. It's a good early ball. Ivanov up, can't get there. Falls for Adozi. Chance to shoot on the edge. Adozi in, it's a good save. We've not quite created that clear-cut opening. They're half chances. They're shots from distance. And now it's a set piece with Harrison. To the back post, Herbert up. Can't make anything of it, but it falls on the edge for Jimenez. Wide to Harrison. Back to Ukulano. Jimenez with a shot blocked, and now Makoko can bring it away. This is where Chelsea counter at speed, but it peters out. And whisper it quietly, it's not much of a threat, but we are showing a bit of one in the second half. Adozi is knackered now, so he'll come off for Sam Amo. And that will be the final sub of the day. Let's encourage the boys, let's push them forwards. And hope that we can defend this corner so we can create a grandstand finish. Rayner's the man to take it to sub. Into the front post. Falls for Eder Militao. It's a great block. Asensio does well. Falls for Militao again. He goes back to Colwell. Big switch to James. Completely unmarked. That's really poor. We've switched off coming out from the corner there. And while we very much expected this result with the backup team, especially once we saw Chelsea's lineup, it's disappointing that we're not going to have that big finish. Chelsea 2-0 up. One less cup to worry about. Now we can throw all of our eggs in a Thursday night Europa League basket. 6 minutes of added time, but we are not going to offer much. We did have a little threat in the second half, but Chelsea, deserved winners. Their first team is always going to beat our backup team. Let's tell the lads we're pleased with the effort and get ahead to transfer deadline day, where hopefully a Brazilian centre-half will join, and maybe we'll find a free agent or a loan player that can do the job as a midfield utility man. Well, a very bizarre start to deadline day here. A quiet day expected, but apparently we're linked with Jeremy Doku for 70 million quid. Sounds about right for me, doesn't it? Spending 4 times our record fee on a 30-year-old who's starting to decline. I have, though, found a centre midfielder that might just about be that utility squad man. Will also likely be very good for the mentoring groups. Al Hilal looking at Ruben Diaz from City. We can't quite compete with the wages there. Datro Fofana we know is good. He did the job in midweek. James Simpson, one of those that got away. A player we tried to sign the year we came up to the Premier League. He rejected us to go to West Ham, and the rest is history. He would be the best right back at our club. And Joe Wills has been linked with Wolverhampton Wanderers, which is a worry for me. He has become a little bit unhappy, complaining about a new deal, but I'm not paying someone 60 grand a week yet. So let's take part in deadline day, see what offers we get. Let me tell you this now. We get 38 million for Alfie Harrison. He's gone. So let's see if that offer comes in. Al Nassr, the club that are interested. We've got a couple of players we're being linked with. Fernando Fernandez is possibly the one I would like to get done. But let's take part in deadline day with 15 hours to go and see if either of the signings I'm going for end up joining the club. Well, you might have found a little teaser on the screen when we were starting deadline day and talking about who might be coming in. But now we have got the confirmation that both players I'm targeting are joining the club. 2 Brazilians at different ends of their career. Let's have a look at who's joining. Fernando Fernandez for an upfront fee of £12 million with a bit more to follow. He is a 22-year-old centre-half joining for 35 grand a week. We'll look at his attributes on that in a minute when he joins. He's very much going to be an important player as the years move on. Then if we go a bit further up, Joel Linton, a 36-year-old veteran midfielder. We've already signed Perez this summer, a 32-year-old defender. We've done this before with Solly March. We've done it with Ruben Loftus-Cheek. We've done it with other players as well. But Joel Linton is going to join the club for £3 grand a week as an impact sub. And with Thursday night football, getting him in the squad, having that extra option in midfield, that fifth player just in case, I think is really important. So he's going to come in. We'll meet them both in more detail in a moment. Could be a very early finish to our deadline day this time. Well, here they are, and you can immediately see how good Fernando Fernandez is. We're going to send him on a language course. We're going to get both of the new boys registered into the squad. But 3.5-star ability is, to put it into perspective, better than Emir Williams, better than Harrison Parker. He's a proper defender. He's got a couple of deficits. He's not the perfect player just yet, as we asked Harrison Parker to welcome him. But he's naturally fit. He's very solid physically. He's good in the air at 6'2". And while technically he's not the best, he's mentally strong. And while he is more of a covering defender at the minute, it does give us options in Europe to play a back three. Does give us options against those big sides to go back to the second tactic we used to do in this save. But what I do like about him is that he's a good all-rounder, and physically and mentally he's very strong. So hopefully we'll get a bit more out of him. I didn't realise he played over here before. He'd been on loan to Preston and played 12 games in a relegation season by the looks of it. But after his big breakthrough season last year, hopefully for 12 million, we'll make a profit on the lad if it doesn't work out. If it does, we've got ourselves a superstar defender. The second one is a name that needs no introduction. Joel Linton is into the club. A 36-year-old midfielder, 2.5 ability on a 1-year deal for, well, peanuts basically, isn't it? He is a player who is going to be incredibly experienced, helpful off the bench in Europe, doesn't expect to start games. And while he's rated 6th best at the minute behind the 4 regulars and Asensio, he does offer us that bit of experience depth when it comes to an injury crisis or just needing to rest people. He's got a good personality. He offers versatility as well, can play off the left wing, number 10, or up front in a target man role. And he's really decent across the board. He's got great work rate and teamwork. He's aggressive. He's brave. He's 6'1". He meets that physical frame. And of course, he's got the opportunity to play a little bit of football here. A great swan song for him. Will be good in a mentoring group with his personality too. And he's played, what, 400 games in the Premier League between Newcastle, Brighton and Sheffield United here. This boy is a superstar. And to get him for nothing, to get that level of experience in, I just feel it's one of those clever signings that we have to make. So with 10 hours to go, I think that's my deadline day pretty much done. The only thing that will change it is if we get a big offer for Alfie Harrison. Joe Wills forces his way out because he has got... No, he's not got a release clause. There's plenty of them that have. He's a highest paid player and I don't want to up him much more. Adeniji is loan listed by request. There's a couple of others that could move on. So we'll wait and see if we get any big offers. But as I stand at the moment, my plan is that that's the end of the window for me. Let's hope that that plan doesn't have to change. Well, it very much has gone to plan. With a quiet rest of the deadline day, we've now got a squad that is ready to compete again because we've got 5 strikers, we've got 5 centre-halves, we've got 5 fullbacks, we've got ourselves now a 5th central midfielder, and loads of those players can play out wide to give us more than 4 options there. So, in terms of a squad ready for the Europa League, I'm very happy with it. I would imagine there will be 1 or 2 we can't register because there's not much homegrown at the club here from what I can see. We've got Harrison Parker, who was here for 3 years. Oh, and Adeniji. That's a bit of a bonus, actually, because we'll have a 23-man squad. And then the likes of Joaquin Jimenez will be there by next year. He's been here for 2 years now, so might not have to be registered. Actually, and Bernberg will become as well. So the homegrown situation is nowhere near as bad as I thought. We've got plenty trained in the nation, which was never going to be a worry. This is a Southend side in pretty good nick. Yes, we've gone out the cup, but still, we have got the lowest wage budget in the league. Less than 800 grand being spent overall. No one on more than 40 grand a week. And now we've got European football in our 4th Premier League season. 26 players leave the club, albeit a lot of them on loan. But one of the things we've done really well this summer is get rid of a lot of the sort of the deadwood in the squad. The players that have come up with us but not featured for a while now. When you look at the summer overall, to get 4 million for Williams, 2.5 for Bacon, who never played a game for us, to get 12 million for Allen, 10 million for Cox, probably the only one I'm a little disappointed with. Then 4 million for Humphreys, who we got on a free, 16 million for Smith, who we got for 100 odd grand, and 5 million for Allsop, 10 million for Volsky. generally speaking, we're making a lot of money, even on the ones that have ended up being duds. So with other players to come back from loan or be sold after it, I think we're in pretty good nick at the minute. We have had a quieter summer than we expected. We've made a net profit. We've not spent masses of money. 5.5 million for Sanhueza, who will be good once settled in. Andres Asensio for 11.5 looks like a bit of a gem. And then this season, moving on to it, Valdo Kamara, great signing by the director of football. 775 grand is going to be an absolute steal there. Lewis Herbert on a free, really clever deal. Same for Joel Linton on deadline day, by the way. Then Noem Perez, experienced centre-half, 32 years of age for next to nothing. And Fernando Fernandez, the big one of the summer. I think he's going to be worth it in the long term. Let me know what you think of our summer window, though, particularly my two very contrasting deadline day signings. Do you think I've improved the squad despite the profit made? Do you think I've left any area a little bit short? I mean, we've got a lot of young players that are improving, so maybe I shouldn't be too upset about it, because a lot of our squad is in the lower end of its career. Not many in their peak, and now a couple of older heads just to help them out. Do you think I've made the right decisions? Let me know down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this one, please do put a thumbs up on it. Subscribe for daily FM24 content. We'll be back on Tuesday with this one, as for the first time, we will be showing European action in this save. I haven't actually decided what game yet. I might do Besiktas, but I'm a little bit torn at the minute, because the best games are Benfica in the last two, but I'll find one in between somewhere. Possibly Panathinaikos and Chelsea in the league, maybe even a Spurs game, or Besiktas and Aston Villa, which could be a good one as well. Let me know what you'd like to see and give me your prediction for how we get on in Europe. Do you think going out the Carabao Cup might end up being a good thing, or is my squad a little too weak to cope with everything? But thank you for watching as always. Your support is massively appreciated. And I'll see you back here next time for the first time with Europa League action at Southend United.